For a few years now, the Motorola brand has been a go-to for excellent budget smartphones. However, the newest Moto Z Droid and Moto Z Force Droid, which are both Verizon exclusives, for now, are breaking that trend. These are incredibly premium phones that will carry an incredibly premium price tag. Now, our full review won't be out for another week, but today we'll take a first look at the phones themselves and the very quirky Moto Mods accessories. The Moto Z family will be available in two models. We've got Moto Z Droid and Moto Z Force Droid. Now, both phones are pretty similar. They share many of the same features, including gorgeous metal frames around the 5.5-inch Quad HD AMOLED display. They have Snapdragon 820 CPUs, 4 GB of RAM, 32 or 64 GB of storage with an SD card slot for expansion. Very nice. We've got a 5-megapixel front-facing camera, and there's also flash on the front-facing camera, which is unusual. On the rear camera, we've got optical image stabilization and laser autofocus. We have a weird-looking but extremely fast squircle-shaped fingerprint reader. We've got USB-C, an adapter to use headphones over USB-C because a headphone jack is not present on the device, which is silly for a myriad of reasons that I will talk about in the final review. More on that later. And finally, we have the ability to use Moto Mods. So if there are so many similarities between the two models, what's the difference between them? Well, the Moto Z Droid is just 5.2 millimeters thin, which according to Lenovo is, quote, the world's thinnest premium smartphone, end quote. There are phones that are thinner, but apparently they're not premium. Regardless, holy balls, this thing is thin. Battery capacity, as a result, obviously suffers a little, coming in at 2600 milliamp hours, and this model also only features a 13-megapixel camera as a result. Now, the beefier Moto Z Force, which will also be slightly more expensive, is about 50% thicker. And while that's still thin, it offers a much larger 3500 milliamp hour battery, a 21-megapixel rear-facing camera, and Moto Shatter Shield, which we saw on last year's Droid Turbo 2. That is the guaranteed shatterproof display. Last year, it felt pretty plasticky, and this year it's much improved. It feels a lot more like glass while still maintaining crazy durability and great visibility. Now, I dropped it face down from about yay high, I'm 6'4" for reference, and the screen remained in perfect condition. I can't think of another phone that would have been able to withstand that. Unfortunately, despite the phone's screen being shatterproof, there's no shatterproof bezel, and the concrete scuffed up the aluminum frame pretty badly. You should still avoid dropping this phone if possible. Both phones have a bit of a camera hump, but included is a magnetized wooden back which helps eliminate this if you want. I personally prefer the look without it, but whatever floats your boat. Finally, to the fun stuff, Moto Mods. Now, somewhat like the LG G5's Friends modules, but generally less terrible, Moto Mods have attempted to bring accessorized modularity to the Moto Z lineup, and hopefully future Motorola smartphones as well. Now, at the moment, there are 3 main Moto Mods, and I will disclose the prices of them during my final review next week. They're still under embargo. But the first and most simple mod is a power pack. Mine is Incipio branded, but there will also be a Toomey and Kate Spade branded version for a slight premium. This is a 2,220 milliamp hour battery pack that snaps onto the back of the phone with magnets. Magnets! Oh! The power pack adds a lot of extra power without making the phone too much thicker. It's a nice alternative to carrying a battery around with a cable, but it's not really the same as a battery case in the sense that this doesn't really protect the phone. It just kind of snaps onto the back. Now, the second mod is a JBL Sound Boost speaker, which is just a little bit more cash than the power pack mod. Interestingly enough, it also has its own battery to power the speakers for up to 10 hours without sucking juice from your phone. However, if it runs out, it will slurp juice from your phone. Not all hope is lost. Now, the built-in speaker on the Moto Z is actually pretty decent, but the Sound Boost mod takes the sound quality to the next level. Now, I am a bit of an audio snob, and even I was pretty impressed at how good it sounded for its size and price, which, sorry, I can't tell you again till next week, but it really is a pretty good value. Now, take a listen. Sounds pretty good, right? Unfortunately, this thing is tubby and it adds some serious bulk to the phone. It's probably not something you'd leave attached to the phone permanently. It's nice to have that modularity option. Now last, we have the craziest and by far the most wildly expensive mod of them all, and that is the Moto Instashare Projector. Again, the Projector mod also houses a sizable battery to power itself, but with a 480p resolution and mere 50 lumen output, you're not going to want to replace your home theater with this thing. All you have to do is snap it on, power it up, and use the kickstand to adjust the height. Whatever is on your screen is transmitted to the projector, which is nice. There doesn't need to be app compatibility. Everything works. Now, automatic Keystone adjustment is awesomely handy, but you've still got to manually focus with a little knob on the device. Lenovo advertises that this projector can display up to 70 diagonal inches, but I'm skeptical. The projector requires an extremely dark room, and even with that extremely dark room and very white surface, it still tends to get dim pretty quickly. I'll certainly test it more extensively, but I'm skeptical. For its price, and again, I can't tell you what the price is, but trust me when I say it's extremely expensive, I'm not really convinced it's going to be an easy buy for most. Unfortunately, you also can't use two mods at the same time. So you couldn't use the JBL Sound Boost mod whilst projecting a movie with the little projector mod. You'd need a Bluetooth speaker, and that just seems kind of silly. All in all, the Moto Z and the Moto Z Force are looking like awesome phones, and I'm excited to test them further. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate a like. If you didn't like this video, that dislike button seems to work okay too. If you're interested in my final review of the Moto Z, which is coming next week, and other awesome tech videos, you can get subscribed to the channel, and you can even further support us by using our Amazon affiliate link, which is in the video description below. But if you do none of that, I'd like at least to thank you for watching this video. And as always, stay snazzy.